Hi there, and we're going to start this lesson a little bit differently because our size matters here, because it needs to be small. So we're going to start off small, but not small enough where we can't review it. So we're going to go open up Illustrator, go New File, and instead of picking one of the prefabs, we are going to switch this by clicking down on it, switch to inches, and then we're going to switch this to 2 by 2 and create. And there you go. It looks just like every other one we've ever done, but it's 2 by 2, so it's special. All right, now I'm going to go into my files here, and we are going to create a house file, a home file. But I want to bring in a guide, so let's see if I can just drag that in. And hold down Shift. So this is a guide, and guides are all over the place. When you're making icons, um, it's always good to have one so you can tell where you are with curves and straights, and you know that it comes with a border, so we're all good there. Um, and this resolution's a little bit small. Um, if we wanted to make a guide of our own, and so you don't say, oh, I can't find that one, I don't know where it is, then we can just come over here and make sure that we have um, rectangle selected. And then if you hold down Shift and Alt at the same time, it'll start at the middle and you can grow your rectangle out like that. I thought I had no fill. I apparently have a white fill. All right. And so let's try that again. Alt and Shift. Start in the middle. And we can get that second area there. And one last one. Don't worry, we can, if they're not perfectly aligned, we can certainly align them. Yeah, okay. So let's do that. I'm going to turn off my background. And I go to properties here. I'm going to select all 3 of them. And then, oops, I don't want to do that. Weird, I've never seen it do that before. Oh, because I had the point selected, not the object selected. All right, so there, align that way, there, align that way. Okay, now we can turn our layer on again, and we can do our circles, switching this to ellipse tools. You can certainly, if you're tired of clicking on that and you need to switch back and forth, you can just hit this and it kind of lets it float. All right, so same thing, Alt and Shift. Start in the middle. We'll do the little one. Click somewhere else, click back on it, Alt Shift. You can also copy and paste these or copy and manipulate them. But honestly, it's a toss-up as what's faster. Just so it hits the edges of that square. Once again, we can hide this. Select all these. I can select all the objects, go back here to our alignment tool, make sure it's centered that way and centered that way. And you can see some of them are a little too big. Okay, so we're going to select this one. just reduce it a little tiny bit, holding down the shift key because I want to reduce it all at once. And then I imagine I got to move that up a little tiny bit. Maybe our circles are small. Maybe it's not our squares. All right, let's see how that works out. I select them all again. Remember, we want them to be precisely aligned. Pretty good. Okay, one last thing. I'm going to take the line tool and do crosses here. I'm going to hold down Shift on the PC, and that's going to lock it into that kind of cross. Come back here to our layers. I can turn that back on. And oh, I didn't do the horizontal ones. Okay, so find the middle. There's the middle, and stripe one down. And one there, huh? Okay, so I need to run this right on the edge of that square. I don't even know what this grid is, however, or if it's important. It's just a grid that somebody had on the internet. I'm just trying to recreate it now as best as possible, which has become its own assignment. Crazy. Oh, we can move that there. And if I want to, here's what I was talking about before. I can just select it and go Control C, Control V, and then, oops, now it's super fast. Put it right there. Control C, Control V. Maybe one more over here. Could have done this with the rectangle tool, and I didn't, and I apologize. All right, so now we got our grid, and that grid matches this grid more or less. Great. Okay, so the good thing about doing a grid this way, right, we could have brought this grid up and locked it. If I close off all these, you can see it, and then I can't select it. But I can't align to any of these lines because they're just a picture. The good thing about recreating our own grid, turn those all back on, is I can select it and go to View, Guides, Make Guides, and then I can turn our grid into a guide instead of a grid, in which case I can snap things to it. Right. For instance, I can see how it lights up when I'm in the corner, and it wouldn't have done that with the other one. So I can get exactly a perfect square. Of course, I could hold down Shift and Alt and start right in the middle and get a perfect square anyways, but you know, it's good to have options. All right. Did I say I was going to make a home grid? I'm making a home grid, so it's going to look like a little house. All right, so now I want to click on this, which is the shape tool. I want to click on this once here, and it shows how many sides it should have, and I'm going to say 3, which obviously creates a triangle. So if I bring this down, I can scale this so that it's in line with these other ones. And then I'm going to switch to this. I just want that one path, not the whole thing, but I'm going to keep it locked to the middle, right? And then switch back to object, bring that up here. And then that becomes our roof. And if I want, if I zoom in on that, I can have that sit above or on top of the other ones. What I'm not super happy about is the sharpness of it. Let's see if I can grab the little, there we go. Remember these are the roundy edges bits. So I can actually make it like that. Maybe it's a Mac icon, which are always a little more roundy. And take that up to the top. I want this flush with the sides. There we go. I guess I can select this one too and give this one slightly roundy bits. You know, just in case it's a Mac house with all roundy bits. These little icons, just for refresh, these put roundy corners on. So if you push them all the way in, they're 90 degrees, and you bring them all the way out, and they're roundy. And right now it's doing all four of them at the same time. If you just want to do two of them, or one of them, is it a shift or something? No. Alt? No. I'll have to figure that out and let you guys know. I mean, I guess I went to properties. We could also select the corner and give it particular things. Different. This is manual corner adjust instead of things. I guess we could go and do that too. I like the roundy ones. Okay, we'll just stay with that. Okay, so what we have here now are two shapes for our icon, but it doesn't look much like a house. So let's do a couple things. First off, let's select our object again, and let's give it a fill color, and I'll just give it a bluish color because, you know, all the home icons are always blue. I got those two together. Now, before I do any more duplicating, any more creating, I can come in here and using the grid here, create a very nice little square. Something like that. Or I can just Control C, Control V it. I'll put this one here. And I'm going to turn it red because we're going to pop that out. Okay, so let's select all the ones we're going to make blue and bring them together using the Pathfinder tool. This combines or cuts away pieces of geometry. So we're going to combine them all right now, which is this button. And then you can see kind of a house thing there. And now what we want to do is select the background, the blue one, and the foreground, and do this, and you can see it cuts a hole in it, right? And now if I go view guides, I can turn those off. They're obviously still there. But now we have our home icon. It's kind of a fancy one with the rounded corners and stuff. I like that. Definitely be on like a new iPhone or something. So we can also, let's see, now that it's all one piece, I can increase the stroke a little bit on it. Let's select it. And if we were to look at it in, say, real size, maybe a little bigger than that. Something like that is what you would see when it's on your desktop. Cool. And that's how you make an icon. Okay, you need to make 4 of them. Good luck.